Hello, everybody. We're going to start off today with a little bit, first podcast of the year. We're going to go straight into the prime subject, which I think is development. Trying to do is make sure that we develop the players at a fast rate, at a high level. Uh, you want to make sure that when you're developing kids, that you take the proper steps to make sure that you don't miss a beat or make sure that they understand the process while taking them along that journey to get better. So one of the things that we're going to talk about the skill, we're going to talk about the time, we're going to talk about the strength, and we're going to talk about the mental. And the first thing that we're going to talk about first is the skill set. So once we talk about the skill set, the main skill set for us is making sure that we assess the player, making sure that we understand what his ceiling is at that point in time. Everybody's skill set is different. Some players are faster, stronger, bigger, as opposed to the smaller players. So their skill set is different. So your approach to developing the kid, developing the player has to be different. Everybody's not the same. Skill sets are not the same. The arm strength is not the same. The footwork is not the same. Baseball IQ is not the same. Um, Coming from someone that I played at a high level, I played with players that had to work. I played with players that didn't have to work. I've coached kids who have had great talent. And I've also coached kids who had to put in that work and had to grind it out week in and week out just to stay with those players that are just talented. So that skill set comes in different, you know, it just comes different. So for me as a coach, I think developing the player skill set takes time. I think the players need to understand and be realistic. I think the parents need to understand their kid's skill set, and then we can kind of go from there. The timing of it, you know, having time to put in the work to develop that skill. You have to make sure that when we're talking about a skill and we're talking about time, what I mean by that is how much time are you putting outside of practice? How much time are you putting before practice, after practice? Okay, outside of practice to me are the days you don't have team scheduled practice. Okay, are you showing up to the field early to stretch to make sure that you're ready to go before practice? Are you staying after practice doing more running? You know, that's gonna help you develop better skill set on the field. For me in high school, I always ran 10 posts after practice, after our scheduled running. To me, that allowed my skill set from a pitching to be stronger. That allowed me to last longer as a pitcher during the games. And it overall made me a better athlete and it conditioned me well. That was my part. Some of my teammates would hit after practice. They would come before practice and hit early. They would stay after practice. They would come to the fields after games and still hit. I think that's very important to understand what the skill set is and how much time you have to put in to develop that skill and to keep developing that skill. One of the things that I take a lot of pride in is making sure my players understand why we're doing things. I think if we are at practice and we're just running through drills and they don't understand why, they're not going to put in the effort time that you need. What I mean by that is they may do it for 5 minutes, but they may only give you energy for two. And I need them to give me energy for five. Okay. So I think getting players to learn the why in the time will help their skill. the strength part. This could be a whole subject by itself. But when we talk about the skill dedicated to the time, now we're dedicating that time to strength training. How much work are you doing outside of all of those baseball skill set activities to make your body stronger, your core stronger, your lower back, your legs, your arm strength, everything, hand strength? What are you doing to help get stronger in strength? And I think that's something that parents need to understand. Little Johnny just can't go to batting practice and go home and not pick up a bat until his next batting lesson. So if we're working on Tuesday and we don't see each other again until next Tuesday, sometimes I will ask the player, when was the last time you swung a bat? Probably 80% of the time they will say last Tuesday, the last time we hit. My response to them is that's not enough. You need to hit in between. If you can hit every day for 30 minutes off the tee, that works. You know, now you have to do it right. You have to take what you have been taught and you have to do that part right. So you have to take your time. It's not a rush, okay? But you have to put in that time. That time is going to help you with your skill. And so that strength part also comes from being able to do something long term, meaning can you hit off the tee 3 buckets without getting tired? So now your legs are getting in shape. Now your arms are getting in shape. It's like a basketball player taking 100 shots, 200 shots, 300 shots, 400 shots. They have to work up to 500 to 1,000 shots a day, just like hitting on the tee. You have to perfect your swing to where it's almost automatic. And the only way to do that, you have to put in the time. You put in the time, you're going to develop that skill. Okay. The mental side. The mental side is an approach that I try to tell players all the time. You have to be mentally strong. But to be mentally strong, you have to understand. If you can understand a situation, you're not going to get mentally frustrated. When you don't get mentally frustrated, you're able to keep that skill at a high level. Um, One of the main things with having strength or doing strength training breeds that confidence. When you breed that confidence, it's going to breed success. Well, success is going to help your mental game out. It's going to help you understand that I had an okay weekend, but Monday we got to get back in the lab. And so the mental side also comes from your strength training, the time you put in, and how your skill set is developing. And so it's very important that those four kind of work together. But the ultimate goal is if you want to get your skill set up, you have to put in the time. If you want to put in the time, you also have to do baseball activities with strength work. That's arm carry, that's leg bands, that's squats, that's running, conditioning, anything that's going to strengthen your body to make you a better baseball player, which is the skill set overall. And the last thing is always the mental side of the game is the most important side. Your mental is what's going to keep you invested in doing that and putting in that time, putting in the strength training, putting in the work to go out and prepare for the weekend. And so that there to me helps everyone understand what development means to me and what I think developing the youth means from the coaches. You have to put in the time to get the skill set. Skill set is one thing, but you have to put in the time. One of the main things that we have to understand the youth model of select baseball today is everyone wants to play, play, play. To develop, there has to be a balance to training, to rest, and play. Um, I like to do 8 or 9 months out of the year playing, and I like to train, or some parents can rest, take off the other 2 or 3 months. But I think for the most part, we have to understand levels of development doesn't mean just training. It doesn't mean just play. There are different levels. Everybody development level is different. I think understanding and having that conversation, I think will better enhance the parents to understand, okay, maybe my son needs more training, or maybe my son needs a little bit of both. Maybe my son needs rest. You're never going to know that answer truly, but I think having a guideline of understanding to develop a skill, you have to put in the time to put in the time. You have to make sure you put time into strength training. That's going to help develop the skill. And the last thing is the strength and conditioning part is going to help your player be better mentally and physically. Strength training, time, skill. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed, the levels of development. Hopefully this helps. I will be doing another podcast with development, of course. That's going to be mainly the gist of this podcast. Hope to see you guys soon. Have a great day. Be blessed.